Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
This is Sunbelt Commissioner Keith Gill, and I listen to the Fun Belt Podcast.
This is the Fun Belt Podcast, part of the Believe Network.
Folks, to Dusty Thibodeau of Warhawk Report, Jeremy Harper of Howlraiser, and Shane Metlin of the Daily News Record.
I think it's potentially a very good week for the Sun Belts.
But I'm just kind of going off on a random rant. It's just frustrating. It's Jeremy here at Sunbelt Conference Media Days. We're Metlinless.
We are Metlinless. But you know what? You never know. He might show up out of the blue. It would be cool. He'd be welcome. We'd find him a place at this table, and that would be great. Shane, if you're listening, there's still time for you to show up.
Maybe we can pull him in for the end of the show.
Could be. We could. Maybe we can use technology to bring him in.
So the preseason poll came out.
Yeah.
Your Louisiana Lafayette Raging Cajuns picked first in the West. James Madison first in the East. Fair assessments, or do you think that's kind of the safe bet, taking the fight in Metlins?
It's always a safe bet, especially picking some of the older, the past winner in Louisiana. But hey, I don't know why you wouldn't pick them. They have plenty of talent on both sides of the ball. James Madison is sort of the early favorite everywhere else. I guess we'll see when we talk to Coach tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll edit it.
I couldn't clear my throat. All right.
I think one thing that was interesting to me on the preseason poll for the West, Texas State picked second with 6 first-place votes, 78 points overall. That, to me, tells me that they had the same number of first-place votes as the Raging Cajuns there with 6. But it feels like everybody either picked them to win it all or to ride off into the sunset as a bottom dweller in the West.
Well, here in the West, 4 teams got picked to be number 1. I mean, 4 teams got picked votes, and I think I read somewhere where outside of James Madison, it's almost like a crapshoot. Nobody seems to know, because of the transfer portal, because of NIL, because the teams have changed so much. There's really no runaway team in either the West or the East. I don't think even James Madison could be considered that. It's really a toss-up this year.
I'm not a fan, though, of, we've had this conversation before talking about preseason polls, how it's really a what did you do last year for us. ULM was not dead last in the West. At 3-5, they're better than Southern Miss. They have the head-to-head over Troy. They're at least a 5th-place team.
Yeah, ULM, they surprised last year. Lost 6 in a row, though, last year at the end of the season. I don't know.
Why are we bringing up the past year?
You were bringing up the past thing.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, how about we bring up the future? You would think you would get a little bit of grace, having turned in such a good season. Next season, obviously, going to get better. But you can say the same thing for Troy. Troy not getting any benefit of the doubt. Southern Miss, new coach with Coach Huff. Brought in everybody from Marshall, still picked to finish 5th. So it's kind of a puzzle. I'd like to ask Huff about that. What he thinks.
We'll get to.
Okay.
On day 1, when we talk to Southern Miss. I like to think, though, Marshall did get 1 first-place vote in the East. I like to think that Huff just checked the box and was like, there you go.
I'm kind of surprised that Georgia State is picked to finish behind Marshall on that. I figured Marshall is really in a rebuild year this year. But you know what? We all underestimated Marshall last year. Maybe we'll underestimate Marshall this year.
As expected, Coastal Carolina, middle of the pack there, number 4 in the East. I think that is the biggest team that is a huge, huge, huge question mark that I'm excited for our next episode of talking about the East, where we get to talk to Tim Beck and the players and find out what are the Chants going to be like this year.
Yeah, the Chants are kind of I don't know. I wouldn't want to say a disappointment, but they're a real mystery to me right now. They seem to lose their focus after they lose a big game. They don't bounce back really well. Coastal Carolina for a while was the number 1 team in the East last year and then just completely fell apart. So I don't know. Does Tim Beck have a tighter grip on this team this year? I guess we'll find out.
He does have Grayson McCall, though. He does. He's there. He's a GA.
Oh, okay. I thought he was suiting up. I thought I missed a big transfer.
Well, I mean, technically, I think he still has eligibility, so sure, why not?
Oh, maybe might see him on the field. That'd be good.
Maybe he should have been preseason player of the year instead of Braylon Braxton.
Braylon Braxton is your preseason player of the year. I think that was not unexpected. Blaine Merrick is your defensive player of the year out of South Alabama, and your special teamer of the year, Clune Van Andel. Not only does he sound like a villain from a 80s action movie, he's a pretty good kicker. So Braylon's here. Is Blaine here? I don't think Blaine's here.
No.
No Blaine and no Clune. So we only get Braylon Braxton.
We only have 2 quarterbacks that are coming to all of Sunbelt Media Days with Georgia Southern's J.C. French and Southern Miss's Braylon Braxton.
But you know where we lack in quarterbacks, we make up for an offensive lineman.
Every team is bringing an offensive lineman, I swear.
So we're going to get the perspective from the trenches these next 2 days. That's for sure.
I'm anxious to learn some new recipes and eateries in the various cities around the Sun Belt. So as I make my way around, that I can, make sure that I'm eating well, just like they do. Let's get it started then.
All right.
Southern Miss, Jeremy.
Yeah.
They didn't have a good year last year.
They didn't have a good year last year, but that doesn't mean they can't have a good year this year. Maybe if they make some changes at coach, maybe if they have some changes in personnel.
I think that the photo shoot for somebody's official visit was very fitting, where they throw up the bat signal of, hey, we need some help.
Need some help. Yeah.
And they got it
They did.
when Coach Huff showed up. That's not who they were talking about?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think I'm
Okay.
talking about somebody else.
Coach Charlie Huff, you join us as we talk about, as Jeremy so infamously says, Sunbelt on Sunbelt crime. You made the leap from Huntington to Hattiesburg. Is it just the H name of what attracts you to the job?
No, it's all about relationships, right? It's about the people you work with, the people you work for, having a phenomenal relationship, having great alignment from the top to the bottom. I had a chance to meet Jeremy McClain, earlier when I first got into the Sun Belt, just from obviously, Sun Belt meetings and those type of things. And he's been phenomenal. We had a relationship just, professionally in the passing. And when the opportunity came open, his visions and his views on how things should be run in the athletic program aligned with mine. And Dr. Paul, when I got a chance to meet with him, and that's the biggest thing. It's about people. The buildings are great. The only difference outside the people is the weather. But everything else, it's about people, man. It's about people having really good relationships, having a great foundation. So I couldn't be more excited.
Another H, humidity. You're not used to
Yeah, exactly.
So, Coach, Southern Miss goes 1-11 last year. You're coming from a program that you built up, made into a championship team. Now you're coming into a rebuild. How do you like that challenge?
Yeah, well, I think it's good because we're dealing in application, not theory. We're dealing with a process that works. We're dealing with a process we know works. A lot of other schools, conferences, coaches are hoping it works. There's very few that have, legitimate, litmus test that it works. And not from a cocky standpoint, but just we believe in our process, right? So we know what we need to be successful. So once we were able to find out that those needs, resources, foundational pieces were going to be able to be in place, we felt really, really good about being able to build something special here. And then you look at the ability to do it for a long time, right? Sustained success, right? That's what you're always chasing in this game, right? You want to be in a place where you can sustain success, not just, hey, we won it, but I don't know if we'll get back to it next year because our resources may not match, or I don't know if we can get back to it next year because we may not be able to get the same players. You want to be in a situation where you can sustain success. And I think we're going to be able to do that here.
So a lot of guys ended up coming with you from Marshall to Southern Miss? One, did you tell them about the humidity? And two, what did you tell them when you brought them down here? How did you get them down to Southern Miss?
Well, I think it's it's believed that it was like a hoax to put them all in a car and just run them down here and don't tell them where we're going.
Hey, I like that.
Yeah. No, I think again it's about relationships, and these young men came to Marshall for the people, and that's not just me, the coaching staff, but the people, and they develop relationships with each other, and they had opportunities to go everywhere in the country. I think we forget often this is a free country. These kids can go to whatever school they choose to. But relationships are stronger than the colors on the uniform. They're stronger than what may have happened 10, 15, 20 years ago. Relationships are in the moment. And I think those are the things that last. And all of them were excited about the opportunity. Some of them were, before it was announced or before it was official, were calling, hey, coach, is this going to happen? I don't know. I can't tell you that yet. I don't know for sure. But then when it happened and all of them had an opportunity to make a decision, they chose relationships. And I think that's what, says a lot about our program, not just myself, but the coaches, the players, all the people behind the scenes. These guys chose relationships, and it didn't matter where we were going. They trusted that if we were going somewhere, we were going to have the right pieces in place.
The reigning newcomer of the year, preseason offensive player of the year. I think you're actually eligible to be newcomer of the year again, transferring. Is that things that really kind of played in your mind, or was it, as Coach Huff said, that relationship with him that, hey, I'll follow you wherever you go, Coach?
Yeah, it was definitely a big relationship thing, but all those things that you talked about were something me and Coach Huff discussed before we made the move, and then I just felt like being able to come over with some of my teammates was also a huge thing. Being a quarterback, coming over with your receivers that you already have a relationship with, guys that you've put in work with already, I feel like it just puts you a little bit ahead of the learning curve. So, all those things were something that definitely played a part in my decision.
So even though you have a lot of familiarity with your teammates, is it maybe a little bit of a disadvantage? Because now everyone knows who Braylon Braxton is. You're not really coming in as a surprise guy.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I like it that way. You want to be able to sneak up on whoever you can, but I feel like it's more of a respect thing. People are game planning for you. People are coming in the game saying, we can't let him do this or we can't let him do that. So, it just makes me have to be even more on top of my game. Study more film. Work even harder. Just all kinds of things like that. So,
and then I got to ask about the official visit to Hattiesburg. Batman everywhere. Is this a new theme? The nickname you have?
No, that was something we left that on the official visit day. We're strictly business now. You won't see any more masks or capes until maybe to the first game. I don't know.
Come on, Coach, give him permission to do it.
Trust me, in today's world, they don't need permission. They just kind of do things, and then you have to, as a coach, have to go back and say, well, what happened? But no, they've obviously, it's something he and his receivers came up with, and something that they've stood on for a while. I think it just goes to show the type of person he is to build that kind of, I was always told you got to actually be a good guy to get a nickname, right? A nickname is something that you have to earn, Now, what people call you behind closed doors when you're not there is different. That's not really a nickname, but that just speaks to who he is.
Chris Jones, you're a productive guy last season, second in the team with tackles, 246, 25 solos. But you didn't get to play the last 3 games of the season. Got hurt. Are you healthy? Are you back?
Yes, sir. I'm back. I'm healthy, and I give a lot of credit to Ben Ashford for getting me back right in our strength and conditioning. And I feel like that's really what built me back up, my body back up, and I'm ready to go, ready to work.
You find out Will Hall's out the door, and you're getting this new guy. He likes to dance on the sidelines. That's why we call him the Huff Shuffle. What were your first thoughts when you found out you were getting the Huff?
First, I didn't believe it actually, but then when he walked through those doors, I knew from then on I was gonna stay. I talked to my pops and my mother, and they felt like it was still home for me, and I feel like Coach has shown in 6 months that he can rebuild a program from the ground up, and that's why I stayed. For sure.
Chris. Some people left, some people stayed.
Right.
What what led you to? You talked to your parents, but why do you think that some of these guys stayed and some of these guys left?
The belief we have in Coach Huff and his staff, probably the best I've ever seen. As far as just rebuilding us and teaching us the way of how to be a championship program. Of course, I feel like Coach is a great coach. He can coach anywhere. You know, he just won a championship, but he's starting to put that championship mindset, that championship culture in Southern Miss, and that's really why I stayed.
So you've already heard them start complaining about the humidity. Are you going to whip them into shape when the summer practice starts?
That's something I got to adjust to, too. I mean, I'm from Mississippi. It's still hard for me. So I feel like as far as that, man, they get used to it. I mean, that's just a part of football, man, that South Mississippi heat.
NCAA football's out. Have you had a chance to play it? Is your rating fair? And is Braylon Braxton as good in person as he is in the game?
He's better in person. Yeah, he's better in person. And on a serious note, I get to every day we do 7-on-7, I get to like pick his brain a little bit and just see what he's trying to do and just build my brain up on the defensive side of football. Yeah.
Chris, I know that you're probably the silent leader on the team as linebacker, so you probably view a lot of what's going on in the field. And I ask this question on every team, and I need to know, who talks more shit, the wide receivers or the defensive backs?
I'm going to say the defensive backs. But really both of them. We got a lot of great receivers and corners. You know, Josh Moe, one of the best corners in the country. You got Braylon Brown. You got a lot of good receivers and corners. So, they talk crap every day. So that's
so
just how it goes.
But they can back it up.
Yeah, they can back it up for sure. For sure.
So the follow-up question I have for you on the game, Coach Huff opted in. He's there. Do you edit him? Do you use some hair or anything like that?
I don't even play the game, man. I don't play the game, man. I ain't really into it. He played the game a lot.
So you tell me about playing it. I mean, how realistic is it? How much do you enjoy it? Do you feel it kind of helps your game at all?
Oh no, it doesn't help your game at all.
Oh,
but
good.
No, it's just fun. Being able to play with different guys around the country. Playing this game of college football for the last 5 years. You build a lot of relationships. You get to know a lot of new people. So just getting to play with different guys. Like I get to play with my brother. My brother plays at Ole Miss. I get to play with one of my friends who plays at Arizona State. So just getting to maybe you catch a touchdown or somebody, you send them a video look at your player just got mossed, something like that. It's more just like a fun thing you get to do, just when you get some downtime, because we don't get a lot of downtime. So
did they get you right?
Oh, they got my face scan. It doesn't look like me at all. I don't know who that is, but
well, I meant the statistics. I mean the
yeah. I'm okay.
They got your speed. They got your
Everything's good. Everything's good. Yeah.
So what's the biggest thing that you've seen differently in Hattiesburg compared to Huntington, West Virginia?
I would say just the people in the city, honestly. I feel like, down obviously being back down south, football is taken a little bit, I wouldn't say more seriously, but it's almost like a bigger part of life, you go somewhere, you play Southern Miss football, oh my gosh, can I get a picture? Things like that, little kids, they look up to you a little bit more, and it's just feel like the city's just a little bit more welcoming and warming, I would say. Not that I had anything bad to say about Huntington, but
Best place to eat in Hattiesburg.
If you want to,
as well, because I know you're the local.
Yeah, he probably has a better answer than me. Mine's probably a little touristic, but I would say the Blue Jazz. I like to go get a nice ribeye steak from over there. It's real good.
That's how we know he's getting NIL money there, Coach.
Absolutely. I'd just probably say Boston's. I like eating wings and fish, man. I'm from Mississippi, so I feel like it's Boston's Fish House. Pretty.
Coach Huff, you're opening up with Mississippi State this year, which I guess will be a fun in-state rival kind of game. But then a couple weeks later, you end up playing Louisiana Tech, new to the Sun Belt next year. What do you think of having Louisiana Tech added to the Sun Belt?
I'm different than a lot of other coaches. I'm taking over a 1-11 program. I really don't have time to give my opinion on what the conference should be doing, shouldn't be doing. When you look at it from my chair, and I think it's always relative, right? From my chair, the first thought was this is a great opportunity for us to operationally, budget-wise, it makes sense to us, right? We don't have to get on a plane, to go to Ruston. It's going to keep more money in our operating budget to turn in the revenue share. It's one less, long trip we got to take. So great. I don't get into the, who the other options were, what makes sense. I think Keith Gill and his staff do a phenomenal job of leading this conference. And trust me, when you're 111, you barely get to look up. So when I looked up, I looked at, what would our budget be in 26 and how much money we could save if, we don't have to get on the plane here or there. And that's what ultimately is important to me. What decisions are best for Southern Miss. So I from what I've known, La Tech's a formidable opponent. They've done a really good job over the history of years. It's been a little bit of a rivalry. Obviously, whenever you're talking, Louisiana, Mississippi schools, any, type of sporting event, there's a rivalry there. So it works out good for us. I think obviously as they continue to get more familiar with the Sun Belt, there will be some more rivalries, obviously built, you're talking about 3 schools in the state of Louisiana now in the same conference. I think it makes sense regionally. But the details or the overview of what makes sense for Sun Belt or not, I'm just happy they kept Southern Miss in the Sun Belt after a 111 season, didn't put us out.
Relegation.
Super talk.
Yeah.
So for y'all, y'all get the bling. You get the good old Marshall Sun Belt Conference Championship ring. Do you kind of wear that out of a sense of accomplishment of, hey guys, this is what we're playing for. You can see, feel, touch it, or is it just something that kind of goes in the collection?
Well, I think, in its own right, it's its own story. That team, that university, that community, we had an unbelievable, story, unbelievable year. And that moment belongs to them, and obviously we are a part of that. But for Southern Miss, it's more of here's what you need to do to accomplish it. Look at what has been done. It's not necessarily, hey, we're doing this like we did at Marshall. Here's what we do like champions. And I think it's a tangible, example for the guys, because I'm not talking about, when I first got to Marshall, I was talking about what we did at Alabama because we had just won the national championship. That's not as tangible, at that level. It's like, well, at Alabama, you had 8 guys in the weight room, or you had 10 trainers. This is a little bit more tangible, especially because they played last year. And obviously being in the same conference is a little more tangible. So not just, hey, look at the ring if you want to, get a ring like this, stand in this line, but hey, look at what you have to do to be successful. And I'm not talking about Devontae Smith or Najee Harris doing it. I'm talking about guys that are now sitting next to you. This is what it takes. And I think for young men who really embrace that, they start to see the dividends. Then they're able to kind of go ask those guys questions like, hey, is this supposed to feel like this? Are we supposed to, think like this? Is this what he means? So it's been really good from that perspective. I don't take anything away from the Marshall experience. It was a great year. We're going to go down in history as the first, Sun Belt team to win, conference championship, and hopefully they'll do a 30 for 30 one day and we can all get called back. But, that's that's that story there. I always attribute it to, you see us wear the 111s on our shirts. And that's not hey, that's where we're trying to go. It's a daily reminder that if we don't do things right every single day, that's what we will get. And I tell guys when they come into our programs, we married into a 111 program. So that's who we are. So if you marry a crazy family, whether you're crazy or not, if her family's crazy, you're now a part of the crazy family.
Y'all hear that advice, by the way.
Yeah, you're a part of it.
Coach is giving you some advice.
And you have to be willing to deal with it. And until you get to a point where you can either change it or separate yourself from whatever. But that marriage was that marriage. And I've never been through it, don't want to go through it, but when you go through divorce, sometimes you split amicably and you have 2 great relationships and you go on about your business. And that's what we've been able to do, but we still respect what it took to get there. So we're able to bring that now into our new marriage where we have to change some of our family, traditions. Our family's a little crazy. So we got to change some of that 1 in 11, mentality, some of those things that we may not like. in order to get where we want to go.
Chris, is the family really that crazy in Mississippi? Wait, are you having mic issues there? Or?
Man, I wouldn't say we crazy. I mean, building off what he said, though, he did preach that even to the guys. That's why I respect a lot of the guys that came over from Marshall. You know, they really embraced that. They're 1-11 too now. You know, they came in and just took it on the chin, even though they just, you know, won a championship. And now they gotta, you know, adjust to our culture, but they build it up by his culture. You know what I mean? They gonna put their own little, you know, spice to it.
Well, Southern Miss, it goes hand in hand with Brett Favre. If you had a chance to meet the NFL Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he came out to a couple of spring practices. You know, I got a chance to chop it up with him, introduce myself. Nothing crazy because, you know, he had things to do. I had things to do, but I've definitely met him and I've had a conversation.
He didn't give you any pointers or tips or, you know, kind of like that uncle that comes in and is like, man, you're doing good, but.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely gave me some free game. You know, nothing crazy, but it was definitely a good conversation with him.
Coach, guys, can't thank y'all enough for stopping by, talking good old Southern Miss and the crazy family there. When I see that on a T-shirt, Coach, you got to send me one. that you know, we're all crazy there. But I appreciate it, guys, and look forward to seeing y'all throughout the season.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, guys, man. Wish you best of luck.
Oh, you want me to open it up?
I'll open it up.
Yeah, you open it up. You're good at that.
Arkansas State Red Wolves, Mike and Jeremy Harpers, as we all like to refer to them.
That's right.
Third-year quarterback, Jalen Rayner. Jalen, in this day and age, what brought you back to Jonesboro, Arkansas for another year of Butch Jones and Jeremy Harper?
Well, I think it started with Jeremy Harper for sure. Great person to be around, but
no, really,
yeah, definitely. But for starters, just building that continuity throughout seasons, having returners come back, and that core foundation piece that you need to be able to kind of have that foundation and strong culture and like stability, I would say. So it wasn't really hard to have that decision to stay around the people you love, around the people you built great relationships and bonds with. So having that strong connection piece, I would say, was the easiest and most the biggest part of me staying.
Jalen, you ended up at the Manning camp again, right? How was that?
It was a lot of fun. Got to meet a lot of great quarterbacks, great coaches. John Gruden was down there. And then the Manning family, of course, is outstanding. They're super great people, easy to talk to. And just all the quarterbacks, we were down there having a blast, getting to know each other. So it was a lot of fun.
Now, is it all blast, or is there a little bit of competitiveness with the quarterbacks out there?
Yeah, for sure. On Friday night down at the camp, we have a Friday Night Lights showcase where we're all competing to win basically the championship. So that's pretty fun. We get kind of juiced up and cheer each other on, but we're also competing against each other. So it's a lot of fun.
Picked third, I think it was, in the Sun Belt this year. What does that look like as far as motivation, kind of fair that y'all are kind of middle of the road in the West, or what do you see out of that preseason poll?
Yeah, definitely. I don't try to look at it too much because that's all just outside extra noise that you don't really have to pay attention to. It doesn't account for your responsibilities of preparation, of your mental capacity, of how you snap and clear each week, because each week is like a game of its own. You have to treat it like a season of its own. So I don't really get too much into the preseason stuff. It's all about trying to win the day each day and building on the day before. So,
Jalen, you came in as a freshman, ended up becoming the starting quarterback. Last year, the starter all year long. What did you learn your sophomore season that you're going to bring into your junior season?
Definitely going from freshman to sophomore season was trying to be more on the mental side rather than just playing the game. But of course, once you get on the field, it's mostly just reactions. But having those banked reps of certain plays and certain looks versus defenses, it kind of just gives you more confidence to be able to play faster post snap from what you're seeing pre snap. So kind of going off of my sophomore season, going into my junior season, being able to take more on that leadership role in the locker room and just kind of be able to play more confident and instill confidence into my teammates.
Well, speaking of sophomores, Brandon Barnes joins us too on the show, defensive back for the Arkansas State Red Wolves. Brandon, freshman season, you got some starts. Now you're coming back for your sophomore season. What did you learn your freshman season?
For the most part, what I learned from my freshman season is that the sense of urgency is a big difference. Coming from high school, when I got to Arkansas State, it was one of those things like I had to learn very quickly and, to be able to get on the field. So I would say the sense of urgency and time management was the biggest difference.
Well, obviously you learned that sense of urgency because I think Coach has a lot of is relying on you this year. How does that feel to have that kind of pressure?
Well, it's really not any pressure. When you look at it, it's never really a pressure when you have the mindset to go into everything with the confidence of stuff like that.
So, Brandon, I know you're a great defensive back if you're able to get on the field there as a freshman and now really expected to make some starts here sophomore season. But what's it like going against Corey Rucker? That's just kind of a once-in-a-lifetime type of receiver.
Oh, it's an experience. Being that he's one of the greatest receivers to come through Arkansas State. I love the competition though. He makes me better, I make him better. And I think that's what drove me to this point right now is being able to go against that type of competition and just seeing different things from a great receiver like him.
Knowing that if you can kind of somewhat keep him in check, hey, I can probably handle most of the receivers I'm going to see in Sunbelt play.
Most def.
And do you feel kind of that sense of accomplishment knowing every time he scores, you're like, man, I was pushing him in practice, he was pushing me, and or are you just like, time to go to work?
Yeah, it's time to go to work. Good play, bad play, next play. That's how I look at it. So,
Jalen, I've been asking this question to everybody, and I know as quarterback you get to kind of see the whole field, see the whole team, and I need to know who talks more shit, wide receivers or defensive backs?
Definitely defensive backs. They think they play like Deion Sanders, every one of them. So I would say DBs, but for sure wide receivers can get rowdy and they go back and forth. But I might get into it sometimes, but definitely defensive back.
Brandon, he just called you kind of mediocre. I mean, that's what I heard.
Hey, it's all good. I ain't gonna fire it back.
Coach Butch Jones joins his players here at
one big happy family.
Yeah, we're just one big happy family. Coach, welcome back to the show. Welcome back to Sunbelt Media Days.
I tell you what, very fitting. We start the morning off with you guys. So
we're the first.
You're the first.
All right. Well, we can warm up with us. We're happy with that. Coach, 8-win season last year. It's been a bit of a road. Now picked to finish third. How do you see that? Is it a challenge, or do you feel like, yeah, this is where we need to be?
Well, every year is a challenge, and when you go back and you really look at, the building of our football program, when we came here, we were coming off the heels of COVID, and then you couldn't rebuild your programs like you can now. The portal was non-existent, and we made a decision to do it through high school recruiting.
Yep.
And a lot of humility, but, I think if there's a cliche, trust the process. That would be our football program, and we've built it. And I think our foundation is extremely strong. You just mentioned an 8-win season. That's tied for the third most wins in the history of Arkansas State football, 33 years. Our fifth bowl win in our program's history. And so a lot of momentum. We'll have 4 players in National Football League training camps. So we talked about also developing NFL-ready players. But as we know, we have 60 newcomers in our football program. So I think the key to the drill for us is how quickly we can come together, because we win with connection and trust. And we were 7-1 in one-score games last year. So that has a lot to do with that.
Coach, in this day and age of portal, of transfer, how are you able to hold on to especially a star quarterback for what will now be 3 years in your program?
Well, I think there's a lot of things that go into it. First of all, he means everything to us. He's our leader. Our players believe in him. Our coaches believe in him. I think, having a plan for his continued growth and development, exposing him to, other people that surround football and having a plan for his growth and development. I think also he's extremely connected, within our community and our football team. And I think he has everything that he needs at Arkansas State to be successful. And, I think what's lost in the portal era is life after football and leaving a legacy. And he has an opportunity to be in the Ring of Honor. He has an opportunity to have his jersey retired. All those things that maybe when you're in this age demographic you don't think about, but 10, 15, 20, I'm going through it with our team at Central Michigan. We have 9 guys right now that have been inducted into their Hall of Fame, and one of them is our quarterback. And all those things with life after football goes into it, but I think having a plan for constant growth and development and exposing him to different things. So there's a lot that goes into it. I think character, I think family involvement, keeping the big picture, the task at hand. What's the end-all, be-all goal? You can accomplish anything you want right from Arkansas State.
And Jalen, with the transfer portal, I haven't kind of looked at the numbers to see where you are compared to like Ryan Applin or whoever the all-time leading passer is there at Arkansas State. But do things like that still kind of stick in the back of your mind? Because I know, like, kind of pre-portal, it was like, oh, I want to beat this guy's record. Is that something that you still kind of see as a goal, knowing that you could be there all 4 or 5 years?
Definitely. That's something you kind of keep in the back of your mind. It's not at the front of my mind because, we have bigger things in front of us with our schedule coming up, fall camp coming up. So it's something you keep in the back of your mind, but it's not exactly what I'm just pushing for. My main goal is to graduate in the spring. I'm supposed to graduate in May, this coming up May, so that's what I'm super excited for, being able to graduate in just 3 years. So that's kind of, I'm focused on being a student athlete, being able to have my degree and have that power even when I'm done with football, but also having those football goals and accomplishments ahead of me too.
Jeremy didn't even graduate in 3 years.
No, it's about a 5 or 6 year plan. That's what it was. Coach, big game, second week of the season, going against Arkansas in Little Rock. There's a lot of talk surrounding it. There's a lot of, pressure among fans. Is there a pressure on the team?
No, it's a great opportunity. I think in this portal era you guys are talking about, we're going up against a team that, has a $15 million, $18 million roster. And, I think that's the thing when you look at everything, but it's a tremendous opportunity for us. I think that it's really impactful for the state. You look at a unique experience for both programs, for our players. You're going to the state capitol. You're playing it in Little Rock. The entire state's going to shut down. What more could you ask? Really, that's what college football is all about. I think in the age that we're in, for us to be able to do that in our state capital, but it's going to be a great challenge. I think they're going to be one of the sleeper teams in the Southeastern Conference. Coach has done a great job, and you can tell when they're quietly good and they have a lot of confidence. So it's going to be a great challenge, but also a great opportunity for us.
And then right after that, you end up hosting Iowa State at Jonesboro. 2 really big games, 2 big opponents. Is that almost too much in the?
Well, it's definitely a challenge, but also a great opportunity to have probably a top 15 program come into Centennial Bank Stadium and play in our home stadium. I hope our fans understand the challenge, but also, an opportunity to create a home field advantage. It's also an opportunity to play on national television, kind of showcase, how far our program has come. We have a tremendous amount of respect. We had to go to Ames, Iowa last year, and, Matt's done a tremendous job there in building that program. And when you think about them, it's built on toughness and grit. But, the schedule is the schedule. But I think as we continue to evolve in the landscape of college football, that's something that Chris Pesman, our new director of athletics, and I have spoken about, is just our scheduling, because sometimes with a non-conference schedule like that, you can put your program in harm's way.
Coach, the only thing I have, once in my lifetime, I'd like to see ULM beat Arkansas State. Can you arrange that for me this year?
Well, I tell you what, they have done a tremendous job, and it's going to be a great, great challenge going and playing there. Brian's done a really good job of building that program, changing a mindset. It's a very difficult place to play. The travel is challenging as well. I have a tremendous amount of respect for them and their program, and we all saw what they were able to do last year, and it took everything that we had to beat them in Jonesboro. And if you look at the games that we play, they always come down to a final possession. They're usually very close, and so it's going to be a great challenge going on the road there.
You know, Coach, I know we talked a little bit about the pressure of playing Arkansas, the pressure of playing Iowa State, but I told Thibodeau that Arkansas State never loses to ULM, and that's still on you guys. I mean, that's you guys got to deliver that for me. I can't have the Warhawks ever beaten Arkansas State.
Well, our focus right now is just being the best team we can. But when you go back and you look at our schedule, you know, we opened the season up with SEMO, and they're a FCS playoff team. So when you look at playing an FCS playoff team, when you look at having to go on the road in Atlanta and play at Kennesaw, who they've changed the dynamics of their roster with the portal, and then you're playing two probably perennial top 25 opponents. I think, you know, if you really peel back the onion, there's probably not a more difficult schedule in the group of six than with what we're dealing with this year. And then you couple that, you know, where the bye weeks, there's only two teams in our conference that play 6 games straight. We're one of those. So when you play back-to-back top 25 programs, the depth of your football team, your competitive depth is going to be challenged.
Brandon, I don't think knew that y'all played 6 straight because I heard him go, ugh, whenever you mentioned that.
I do have a question for Brandon, though, about this experience here. I know Jalen was here last year, so this is old hat to him. But how does it feel to get invited to do this show, and then, not this show, but the Sunbelt show in general, and be surrounded by all this?
Nothing better than the Fun Belt podcast.
Well, I know this is actually going to be the height of the whole thing. The rest of it's all downhill. But is it overwhelming, or are you just like taking it in?
No, sir, it's not overwhelming at all. It's actually a humbling experience, and I'm very grateful that Coach Jones and my team trust me to to be here in front of you guys and around such great people. You know.
Did you guys go out to eat last night?
Yes, sir.
Where'd you go?
GW Fans, that's what it's called.
What'd you get?
The barbecue shrimp with grits and dirty rice.
All right, but you got to bed early, right? You didn't like tear down Bourbon Street, right?
Oh, no.
We gave them a mini tour in the cab, and then everybody went to bed early, ready to go for today.
And by mini cab, they were doing like 90. And just said, there it is.
That's Bourbon Street. Don't go there.
Guys, can't thank y'all enough. Looking forward to Red Wolves season this year, seeing where y'all wind up in the Sunbelt West.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Jeremy's favorite team, ULM Warhawks, join us. Billy Pullen,
I love the
defensive end, and tight end Nate Sullivan. Guys, last year, decent year, 5-7 overall, but not really, the end that you wanted there, dropping 6 straight. What were maybe the lessons you learned from the season last year?
Mainly just not to get ahead of ourselves. We were 5-1. We were looking forward to that ball game, but I think we just got too ahead of ourselves, and we didn't take it week by week.
Nate, what was the big lesson that you had there from last year as you kind of get ready for this upcoming season?
As Billy stated, we got a little bit ahead of ourselves, and I think the biggest thing is just with this season, the mindset is finishing, playing all 4 quarters of football, and having that mindset.
Last year, I think there were like 1,000 new guys that came in on the roster. This year, having a little bit of continuity, kind of familiar faces. How much
better is that going into the season, being prepared?
It's a lot better. The chemistry this year compared to last year is night and day. This year, we're way closer as a team. We bond together, and I think that's the most important thing in doing what we want to do and accomplishing the goals we want to accomplish.
You lose Ahmad Hardy to the transfer portal, but some people stay too. Why do people stay at ULM in this age of transfer portaling left and right?
I think it's a commitment thing. If you're committed to a program, and you have a relationship with your coaches and the players on the team, that's the biggest and the most important part.
Billy, Nate said that the attitude this year is a little different from last year. Last year was a lot of new guys, a lot of people getting to know each other. This year a little different. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, last year we had like 73 new players, a whole new coaching staff. Everyone was just getting to know each other. This year we lost Ahmad, we lost Wadet. That's pretty much it. I mean, a lot of people came back, and our team's really growing together. Like, you can see it every week. We're just getting closer as a team and feel good about it.
Billy, you're a rural Texas guy, and you have one of the biggest characters and personalities of the team in Mackenzie Ryan. Do you understand anything that guy says?
At first, I didn't really know what he was saying. But yeah, Mackenzie's a cool dude. He's a great punter, great person. I mean, I love Mackenzie. We all do.
Are you jealous of the mullet that he has, though?
A little bit. I can't lie.
Nate, you're a hair guy. Are you jealous of the mullet?
I'm a little jealous. I wish I could pull that off myself.
You ever tried?
Never tried it.
Coach won't let you?
He would let me.
Coach, second year at ULM. First year, you came, maybe didn't know what to expect, still putting stuff together. You're in your second year. Much more comfortable?
Absolutely. I think having the highest retention in the Sun Belt is a big deal. And that says a lot about what I believe, the belief of the players, the belief of the coaches, and really that says a lot in today's college football. There's no doubt, I think, having the continuity of majority of the staff back, our strength staff, having the same schemes offensively and defensively and in special teams. Now the players know it's not all new. A lot like what Billy said is that continuity is a big key to success. And understanding and having comfort is a big deal. So, we go into January, we understand the weight program, we understand the speed program, we understand the offense and defense. And plus, we also, the players know who they are and know who their teammates are. And I think, coming in and bringing in 73 guys, now that was a challenge in itself, obviously, because you're putting 73 new guys in a locker room that's going to play in a good league to win football games. And this offseason has been one of the best off seasons, if not the best that I've been a part of in going on 29 years. And that's because it's becoming player driven. Year one's always coach driven. We're showing them, we're leading them, we're teaching them how we do things, the mentality, the toughness, the discipline, the standards of what we believe in. And now the players are kind of leading the charge, and it's player driven. And when that happens, that's when it really turns around.
Coach, you opened the season with maybe the least recognizable team that I've ever heard, St. Francis. I don't know them. But then the next week, you open up with perhaps maybe the most recognizable team with Alabama. How do you handle that off-on switch there?
To me, I think everything's based off your experience and what you've been through as a coach, as a player, even as a man. And what we went through last year, we have not forgotten. I wake up every day and I challenge myself and so how in the world, as the leader of this program, did you let us lose 6? I put it all on my shoulders. Did we lose 6 straight games? I don't care who we play. Yeah. And I'm just being honest because I'm extremely critical of myself. But, we've got that. We remember last year. We remember how close we were, and we had all those opportunities. Now, we fought our way into those opportunities, make no mistake, but how close we were. And this team wants to come out here, and they've got a purpose and a passion to finish this and to get this team back into the second bowl game and to win it. And, we put our goals high. Our goal, we want to win the West, and we want to host the conference championship game, and we want to win it. And we're not going to back down from that. And I know we walk in here and they go, oh, y'all are picked 14th and the 7th. Well, let me tell you something. You ain't played this team. and this team will be ready. I promise you this, and I've got a lot of confidence in this team, and I'm not just saying this because I'll tell you the truth. Last year, our goal was to try to get to 6. I mean, to fight our tail off to get to 6. Our goal this year is to win the West, and I think this team is capable.
Nate, you get to meet a bunch of defensive players here at Media Days. Any kind of smack talk that goes on with them, or is it just kind of the friendly banter of a bunch of student athletes hanging out?
A bunch of student athletes hanging out. Smack talk will come during the games.
So there's been no kind of tension like, even last year I remember this or that, or this year we're going to do that.
Just want to take game by game this season.
I mean,
he's trying to get some juice out of it.
I gotta get.
I'm not going to get it, is he?
The same to you. I mean, there's a lot of offensive linemen here. I mean, are they going? You don't look as big as you did last year in the game.
Nah, they didn't say nothing to me, but I don't really like to talk a lot. Maybe in the game a little bit, but nah, man.
Billy, as a linebacker, I know I'm going to get the straight dope from you. Who talks the most shit? The defensive backs or the wide receivers?
On our team, our DBs are kind of quiet, I guess.
Really? Okay, because I keep hearing that those guys, not necessarily the Warhawks guys, but the defensive backs are the ones
on
that
our
are
team,
talking all the trash.
I think our linebackers will talk the most.
No kidding. All right.
Even Vince is going, yep.
Yeah, he agrees. Coach Vince, I did want to talk to you a little bit about that 6-game losing streak. ULM comes into the season last year with not a lot of expectations. New head coach, new players. It was like, let's see what happens. But actually comes out gangbusters. Loses a little bit of momentum at the end of the year. Now picked to finish, what was it, next to last?
13th overall, 7th in the West. Thanks for pointing it out, Jeremy.
Yeah, but it seems a little crazy. It seems like the team did so well last year. You seemed like you would get more of a benefit of the doubt. Is that a motivator for this year?
I think it is. I mean, we've always been counted out. To be honest with you, I think that I've always had a chip on my shoulder my whole career. We built this locker room with players that had a chip on their shoulder that were counted out, that people didn't believe in or they didn't think this. So this team was built for this mission. And this team, I don't think they got a chip. They got a boulder on their shoulder this year. And, it is what it is. We started out 5-1, and I own everything that goes on in this program. But we've also built this team to be able to overcome the things that we weren't able to. We got bled out last year on times on defense. We couldn't stop the run. And so we went out and we got bigger bodies interiorly to be able to help stop the run and to really give guys like Billy and Cavante Wells and Jalen Callender and Davin Anderson to really free them up, because we were able to bring in guys interiorly that can really cause havoc.
Nate, we all know that Elijah Fisher has probably the biggest personality on that whole offensive line. And I don't even think it does it justice when you say it that way. Who's the other face or personality that we should all know about?
Probably my peer, Julian Nixon.
Nixon.
Yeah.
All right, we'll keep an eye out for Julian
All
Nixon.
right. Now I know who to talk to. I'll be like, Nick said. So, he's going to give you some grief there. Coach, new president and coming on the bayou there. What's that relationship like, and how important is it to have a good president to really kind of help athletics overall?
I think the whole key is the president. It all starts at the top. It starts at the president to the athletic director, then it funnels down to the head coach. And I couldn't be more excited to have President Castile as our president. We have a great relationship. I think we're very similar people. She's very driven. She's very energetic. She's very passionate about building this university to be the best it can be. She loves athletics. She's all about academics. I think she is the perfect storm that this university needed and the perfect leader that we needed. I couldn't be more thrilled. I wake up every day with a smile knowing that President Castile is our president.
Well, speaking of perfect storm, Louisiana Tech enters the league next season. A lot of talk around it. A lot of people have an opinion about it. Does Coach have an opinion about it?
I have a great opinion about it. I like it. I want them in. They're 20 minutes down the road. If we're trying to create excitement and we're trying to make football and our schools bringing attention and bringing, just all the things. I've heard so many stories since I've been here about the rivalry of ULM and La Tech. I think it's going to create excitement and energy, and I think it's great for both schools in Northeast Louisiana. I really do.
I think that's all we have for y'all. Greatly appreciate it. Look forward to see the Warhawks here in 2025.
Warhawks.